Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. In today's video I'm going to talk about the topic of why I think update 1.38 might be a pretty big update and why it realistically needs to be. But how do we actually know update 1.38 exists? Well, this actually kind of got confirmed thanks to the leaked image of the Mazda 3 Group 4 vehicle, which kind of got leaked at a Mazda Spirit offline event. And then they went on to give it some context, explaining that this has been in the works since around about update 1.36. It's coming next update. Now, what is that car itself? I'll quickly just touch on that before we move further into the video. That car is a Group 4 car, obviously. It's front wheel drive and it's a mix between two real versions, one being the Super version and one being the abandoned Mazda 3 TCR project. So that pretty much gave us confirmation that update 1.38 has been worked on and, well, does exist. But when would this update actually release? Well, probably the 28th of September, which will be the final Thursday of September, or the month. This will bring it back in line with the typical update day, meaning that we'll probably get some news this weekend before getting a trailer on the Wednesday and the update dropping on the Thursday alongside its patch notes and more details of what it actually contains. But that's not the main topic of today's video. Let's talk about why I think this will be a big update for Gran Turismo 7. We're currently in a bit of a gap between content. The previous actual content update was 1.36 and this came on August 7th to kind of coexist with the upcoming Gran Turismo movie. But in terms of actually really providing anything towards the movie, it was absolutely terrible, and overall it was a very, very small content update. The only real look in the movie got was a kind of time trial and a reskin of the GTR that we already had in the game. There was really not too much of note within that update and it kind of fell flat. Since then we had update 1.37, which came at the end of August, but that was purely just a bug fix update, meaning that it just kind of patched the servers, not like it really did much to Gran Turismo 7. I can't say I've really noticed too much. So it does seem like we're having a almost 2-month gap between content updates, and if we kind of look back at the history of the gaps within Gran Turismo 7, we actually had only one real time where the game didn't get updated. We had a bit of an out of time update in December, obviously to coincide just before Christmas, before obviously the devs kind of went away and sort of, you know, spent time with the families and such over the Christmas period, meaning that we had to then wait till January, but January update did not come. Obviously January was a skipped month, meaning that the next update was actually the February update, which was a massive one for GT7. It added PSVR2 support as well as a new track, a bunch of cars and all that good stuff, but the main meat of that update was the PSVR2 support. Obviously this was a big deal. It gave us a whole entirely new way to play GT7, and whilst no, it might have not appealed to absolutely everyone, it was still a big update in its own right after a decent gap in actual content to the game. So why now would it make sense for Polyphony to drop a big content update? Well, it kind of makes sense. If you have a look at anything that's happened since February, there's been literally next to nothing of note. We had two layouts for the Nürburgring, one being the Nürburgring Sprint and one being the Nordschleife Endurance, and well, they not only fell flat mainly because the events surrounding them were absolutely poor, they didn't really add anything to the game. And in terms of the other content, the cars, well, there's been a couple of decent notable, you know, releases, but again, really next to nothing. And if we talk about events, well, there is literally nothing of note, nothing to at least keep players actually playing. We obviously had the Bible engine swaps and extreme tuning, but again, that's kind of faded away and was just kind of a short-term fix for what seems to be a long-term problem with this game. Now let's take a look at the wider world of racing games. It's coming up to the end of the year, meaning that the big releases are on the way. We've already had the Crew Motorfest, which again, people have short attention spans and that game's actually perfect for them, mainly because it will get updated constantly all the way through its life cycle, meaning that people do have a constant influx of content to actually, you know, try out on at least a monthly basis, and usually they're very, very big and decent updates, completely overhauling the games at times. Then we also have the big one, Forza Motorsport. Obviously the Simcade rival to Gran Turismo. They're both targeting the same audience, but they are both on different platforms. One being Microsoft's Xbox and PC, and one being Sony with the PlayStation 5 and 4 with Gran Turismo. And obviously both of these have always been basically rivals, you know, since the kind of dawn of time. If you're a racing game fan, it was always, do you choose Forza or do you choose Gran Turismo? So obviously Gran Turismo 7 got the jump start on Forza Motorsport and got themselves out the door early, almost too early to be quite honest. But in terms of the overall updates, nothing's really kind of, you know, built upon the solid foundations that are there. Obviously we've had PSVR 2, we've had the likes of selling cars come in, but again, a lot of what's actually come to the game post-launch should have realistically been in there day one. This is a numbered title. This is a game that realistically should be focusing not only on the multiplayer, but have a massive emphasis on what a numbered Gran Turismo title usually is, which is a massive career mode and constant replayability, and well, that's not there. And that kind of brings me to what is one of the big marketing points for the upcoming Forza Motorsport. Well, obviously it's single player. There is a lot of emphasis on this whole kind of car PG progression, the fact that they kind of want you to go from the ground up in terms of starting out with the slower cars in the game and working your way into the absolutely brutal race cars, and that is something that Gran Turismo 7 seems to be massively lacking, almost kind of, you know, mimicking the GT League and the Gran Turismo careers of previously. Forza seems to be able to have the advantage here. So with Gran Turismo 7 being a numbered title, this will be a great opportunity, especially with the gap in content, for Polyphony to get eyes back on their game and release exactly what their player base has been asking for. More content, more events, and a ton more of single player stuff to do. Now this would be the clever way to go about it. Does it necessarily mean they're going to do that? Well, no, we can't really put anything past Polyphony in terms of just ignoring their overall player base, but this would be a genius time for them to do so. What this would do would then kind of take their shine off their biggest competitor and get eyes once again back on their game. Look, people don't necessarily have a loyalty to any brand. A lot of people just want to play the best on the market, and let's be honest, whilst Gran Turismo has solid foundations, it does feel like they've kind of forgotten the core audience a numbered title kind of goes towards, and well, those people could quite easily jump ship. So this is, in my opinion, why update 1.38 needs to be absolutely massive, and why now would be the perfect time to do so. So this is why I honestly think that update 1.38 needs to be absolutely massive. Not only have the numbers for Gran Turismo kind of dwindled off, and the fact that I think I read somewhere that only about 10% of the player base actually play online, it shows that Polyphony really need to change their focus, and right now would be the perfect time to do so. So let me know in the comments below, do you think Polyphony will drop a massive update for 1.38, or do you think it will continue to get ignored? Are you also thinking about making it the jump over to Forza Motorsport? I think that's one thing that really does kind of interest me, because there is obviously a lot of people saying, oh yeah, if Polyphony don't get their ideas up, they're going to lose a bunch of fans to Forza. Are you willing to make that jump, or is it just all talk? I'm genuinely curious to know. Now for me, I will be covering Forza Motorsport. Obviously it's a big title, I'm interested in their games, I've always played them, and it would be quite nice for a change of pace on the channel, especially to see how they're doing it over Xbox and PC, to see if all of this talk around the career focus and the car PG elements are legitimate, or again, is it just a bunch of PR waffle? That's going to be it from me today. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.